Hi guys, here is the screencast I mentioned earlier that I would do for you to show you how to use the vocab profiler because I think it's a really important tool, and sometimes, well, at least for me anyway, I need to see it or see someone do it in order to know how to use it. So I just wanted to provide this screencast for you to give you an idea of how to do it, to show you the steps to walk through. So here I am at the Complete Lexical Tutor, lextutor.ca. This is the home page. Lots of different tools here. You can even scroll over to the side to see a couple more. Keywords is one that we will be talking about later this week, so you can keep that one in mind. But here is vocab profile. So this is the one that's been mentioned several times in the book, and also is one that's ideal for selecting vocabulary words. And it breaks down the vocabulary words in a text, any text that you put in, according to the first 1,000 words from the general service list, the second 1,000 words on the academic word list, and then words that are not on any list. And actually there are a couple different lists that you can choose from, not just the academic word list. So let's go ahead and take a look. I clicked on vocab profilers, brought me to this page. It's pretty busy, so you can see why it's useful to know what to look at and what not to look at. What I do is I like to use VP Classic, and I'll tell you a little bit more about these other choices in a minute, but just click on VP Classic, and then you can see here we have the academic word list that we can choose from, or there's also a middle school vocabulary list. So if you're looking at something from the K-12 area, you can, or if you're working with students who might be at a middle school level, you can choose this particular list. So then it will show you the words from the top 1,000 of the general service list, the 2,000 of the general service list, then those words in the middle school vocabulary list, and those words that are not on either of those lists. But we're going to go with the academic word list. You can see here that you can type or paste your text into the window so long as it is less than 35,000 words. If it's more than 35,000 words, then you have to upload it. And so that says use VP Complete with Classic option for larger files. And that was on the original page. So you can just go click down here to get to VP Complete, and then there will be an upload option for you. But the Joseph lesson plan is, let's see how many, only 9,000 words, so we don't have to worry about that. I have gone to Bible Gateway and selected those particular chapters for the English Standard Version, and I chose that version just because that's the version that I like to read personally. It is more of a literal translation rather than a paraphrase translation, so I just like it. But you could choose any version that you wanted. I even saw that there's an English Easy Reader version. I think there might also be a language learner version. I'm not sure. But what I'm working with here is the English Standard Version. So I copied it from Bible Gateway, put it into Word just to make it easy. And then I copied all of it from Word. And now I'm just going to paste it into here. I'm going to go ahead and delete this first and then paste. Okay, so here are all of chapter 39 and then chapter 37 and then 39 through 47 of Genesis, and you can see it goes all the way up there. Just copy and paste. I have the AWOL selected, and then the next thing I'm going to do is scroll down here and click Submit Window. So we see it's working here. Here we go. So this gives us an overview first here at the top of the page of how the vocabulary, the difficulty level of it. So we see that actually 85% of the vocabulary words are in the top 1,000 most frequent words from the general service list. We got color codes here. The top 1,000 words are blue, second 2,000 words are green, AWOL words are yellow, and then off-list words are red. So we see 85% are the top 1,000. That's good. The second 1,000 has about 3,000. There are not very many vocabulary words only 0.65% of the vocabulary words come from the academic word list. That's not particularly surprising as this is not an academic text, right? And then we have 10% of the words that are off list. Okay, so we know we're doing pretty good for the top 1,000. We might want to check out these other 3 to see which vocabulary words we want to choose to give to our students in our vocabulary activities, particularly pre-teaching, but also maybe during reading, and then also selecting ones for the different levels, the 3 different levels that Gajusik tells us to look at. Gajusik, sorry. Okay, so scrolling down here, see this at a glance, I can scroll down and actually see which words fall into the 85%. So which ones of the words in this passage are on the 1,000 list. They are all the ones in blue. Okay, which ones are the top 2,000? They are the ones in green. Only 3%, but here are some. Which one are academic vocabulary words? In yellow. Again, less than 1%, but there are a couple of them. And then which ones are off list? Red. So this is important because when we think about off list words, they could maybe be words that are particular to a field of study, one particular discipline. So if I'm working with a biostatistics paper, I edited a dissertation, PhD dissertation for a biostatistics paper, and I saw lots of red words. But those were particular to that field. So if I were teaching with them, they would be important for that field. Here, we're going to see a lot of proper nouns, because a lot of proper nouns are here in this story. So this would help us identify all of the proper nouns, first of all. And then also it could help us see, okay, these off-list words, are they ones that students are really going to ever encounter outside of this story? Because if they're not, let's just give it to them. Let's just tell them the definition so they can look it up and they don't waste effort or energy. So sojournings, maybe. Behold, not so much. Sheaves, sheaf, definitely not. Just tell them what that word means. Just give it to them. Rebuked, now they may use that word. Shechem, I don't even know that word myself. I would have to look it up and give it to them. Definitely not going to need it. Another thing that we could do with these red words are change them. Okay, so sojournings, this may be a word that they want to use eventually, so we could give it to them, or we could just change it. Same thing for behold. This happens a lot. So we could, it's really not a very frequent word. It's not on any of the lists. So I don't know that I would give it to students. I would think to just change the word for them and give them something else. Rain, however, that might be useful. I don't know. You have to know your students. So consider all of those different factors that you need to take into consideration for your students' backgrounds and their goals and their levels and all of these different things. But this can show you which words to target for vocabulary and more specifically how to target them. This can also help you see the percentage. So 88% here are on the top 2,000 general service list. 88% sounds like a lot, but as we're reading this week, it's really not so much. We definitely need to address particularly these off-word lists, and they are also the easiest for us to address, really. So this took me, I don't know how long we're going now, less than 5 minutes, and I was talking to you about it. A little bit more time to figure out what to do with the red or green or yellow words. But you can see that this is a fairly painless tool that you can use, but it can give a lot of benefits for vocabulary and dealing with particular kinds of texts. This is even a tool that you could teach students to use. I have done this before, giving students the directions and walking them through this so that they can look at their own writing to see what percentage of their writing is in the academic word list, for example, or if they're looking at text on their own to read and they want to know the difficulty level, then they can do this themselves and they can find these red ones and find out what they mean. It's a tool that could give a lot of autonomy to students, as well as one that could be very, very useful for you in looking at levels for readings and also for identifying vocabulary and how to deal with different levels of those vocabularies. Okay, so I hope this is helpful, and if you have any questions, please just let me know. I'll talk to you later.